What's up guys, Peter from Panda here. Hey, I want to show you a couple of these flash cans. These are the typical flash cans that you'll run on your SBRs or your AR pistols. They are half by 28 threads. And one is the typical flash can. It's kind of about 2.5 inches long. It's pretty heavy. It's steel. Has kind of this cone-like centerpiece that just keeps all the sound and flash down range. It doesn't mean you're not going to have a fireball, but it's just trying to not create concussive force to the people next to you. You know, and in a short-barreled rifle, it's kind of the most important thing for most people. So that's why you'll see these flash cans. Now, I wanted to bust this out because this is a typical flash can. You'll see it in a lot of places. But this one is called a Micro Shorty flash can. And as you can see, it's much smaller. It's smaller in diameter. It's shorter in height. It's just a much smaller flash can. It's also cone-like in the inside here, just sending everything down range. It has a notch. This one at least has a notch on the end, so you can torque it in or twist it in if you needed to from this end. They both have kind of a long sleeve and a pretty long shoulder here, but they essentially work exactly the same way. Now, I have used both of these, and this one works pretty well, as you would think, adding a lot of length to the end of your barrel. And I have my calipers out here. I just want to give you some dimensions because you may run some of these. I just want to show you that the big normal flash can here, it's about 1.37, almost 1.4 inches in diameter. It is the overall length is 2.4 inches. The can itself is 1.9 inches, and then this shoulder here, and this might not be super accurate, is basically half an inch. So you're going to get your threading, your half-inch threading on the barrel, and then the end of the barrel is going to sit right at this flat part, and that's going to be pretty much the same for both. So let's take a look at the Micro Shorty here. And outer diameter is 1.2. So this is going to be easier to tuck underneath, you know, a slim handguard. For your normal handguards, this should slide in there underneath, no problem. But if you have a slim handguard, as you know, they have much smaller volume inside to slip things underneath. So, okay, 1.2 inches outer diameter, overall length, 1.75 inches. The can itself is basically 1.25 inches. So you're going to add 1.25 inches to the end of your barrel because right down here, the shoulder part is, again, 0.5 inches. So this is going to cover up the threading for the most part. And they're slotted here so you can torque them down. And I'll give you that dimension too so you know what kind of tool you have to use. 0.75 inches. And I think this is probably the same, but let's check it out. And also 0.75 inches. So you can torque these suckers down. There's no timing required on these. Now, the other thing I want to say is I was really leaning towards this one, and I put it on my pistol and took it to the range and fired it, and it worked pretty well. You get kind of this really thin kind of candle-like flame, torch flame, kind of like a butane torch flame that happens on each shot right out of the middle here, really thin. So this conical hollowed out inside piece really does kind of focus that flame. But then, and unfortunately my range video isn't great, but somewhere out about 3 inches and beyond, you get kind of this 6 to 8 inch fireball. Now, shooting this, and I mentioned this on my other linear comp, the one that I'm going with, is that that's not bad. I mean, I didn't notice, obnoxious blast noise towards me. I didn't really notice the people in the lanes next to me flinching particularly heavily. I didn't even really notice the ball of flame when you're shooting, like in your optic or anything. But again, when you're shooting in a range, it's usually fairly well lit. So the problem is it's not going to affect you as much as it will in low light. So you can see here between this one and the one I'm really running most of the time now is this S&J Hardware linear comp, which is fairly similar in size, but just a little bit different in design. But given the size constraints here of having a very short, a very small comp, flash can, etc., you just can't manipulate the gases that much. So you're kind of limited, and so I really do expect kind of the effect, the flame, the ball of flame, whatever you might have, the flash, the noise, to be relatively the same. But I kind of like the looks and the extra baffling on the S&J one. But this one works pretty well, and so you can see from the footage if this is going to work for you. The real benefits over the normal flash can is much lighter weight and a much smaller size, and especially if you're using a really lightweight build or something, that can be impactful to you. Now let me just give you the weights here. You can tell and feel the weight difference in your hand. This is 9 ounces for the normal flash can, and this is 1.7 ounces. So, that's pretty massive. Anyway, if you're looking for a flash can, you don't want the big old one, the big traditional one, you might want to give the Micro Shorty a chance. And, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm holding on to it. Maybe I'll use it on some other build. Micro Shorty flash can. Peter von Panda. Out.